Um, but I came across an interview just before we did the show, and I would love your take on it. Are you
Okay.
familiar with the name Ayatollah Marv?
Not really.
Okay, he's a Compton native, resident, doing a lot of good things for the city. Um, he does a lot of interviews and things like that. But he recently said, Straight Outta Compton did nothing for the city of Compton. He said it generated hundreds of millions of dollars, but not one property was built. There's not one remnants from Straight Outta Compton. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think Dre donated the money from the album to I think it was a few $1,000,000 he donated to the city of Compton for something or another. Don't know what they did with the money. I know the royalties from that Compton album. It was a big old album. It was an album called Compton. Quick was a part of it. Some more people were a part of it. What they did with the money, don't know. But I know that was supposed to be used for something in the city of Compton. I believe that they are some of those funds are being used to rebuild Compton High School, but don't hold me to that. Other than that, I have to agree with him. Far as I can see, after 7 years now, 2015, 2007, 2022. After 7 years, I would think we would have seen something more concrete. So unless that money is being used to fund part of the rebuilding of Compton High School, he's right.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that changes soon because I thought out of the hundreds of millions that they made, that a lot more than the school would be taken care of.
Man, I'm gonna get myself. People in Compton watching this, they're gonna get mad at me. But every time some money come around Compton, there's always some controversy, Doc. And that's a damn shame, dude. I've been in Compton for a long time, and anytime there's some money, because I remember one time I heard there was an issue between the money that Drake donated. I think he donated 10 million or something like that for something, and they didn't know whether it was going to go to the city or to the school district. Because if it went to the city, the, the the building would only be available so many hours. Or if we went to the school district, it would only be available so many hours of the day, something like that. And it's always some confusion, man. There's always some confusion. And I'd have to check into it a little bit more. I got some people in Compton City Hall that can give me some more solid answers. I'll find out. But as it stands right now, my man got a point.
Were you working on or are you working on a Compton Hall of Fame? I think I remember you talking about that in the past.
I'm working on the Compton Walk of Fame.
Walk of Fame.
There's a spot that I've been eyeing for the past 4 or 5 years, and I had some tentative green lights, and unfortunately, it was right before the election, and the election had some issues. And my councilman I'm dealing with, whose district it is, he's got a couple of issues right now. We don't have a city manager and don't have a full-time city manager. There's an acting city manager, so he ain't making no decisions. So it's kind of I work with the mayor all the time, Emma Sharif, nice lady, good supporter of Lyrical Revolution, my nonprofit. Um, I know every city councilman in the city of Compton and most of the school board members. And when I talked to just general people about the idea, they loved it. They loved the location. It's just that the logistics of it right now a little more difficult. In fact, I had even proposed a way where the city ain't got to pay for it. All they got to do is let us have the property. But there is one small property. The one small problem is that the property that I want to do it on is partly owned by the city and partly owned by Metro. So there is, I got to go to Metro. City of Compton may love it, but Metro may not like the idea. But if it goes where I like, where I want it to go, it could be a tourist attraction, and people can come in, check out the pictures, check out the footprints, the handprints, whatever we're gonna put in there, on the train, take their pictures, and be on the track for anybody knew they was in town.
A lot of white folks. I can picture a lot of white people just hopping off the train real quick. Click, click, click.
Hop on the train, take the pictures. Hey, picture a statue of Kendrick Lamar, Dr. Dre, Alonzo, and we're out of here. Okay.
Let me ask you.
Just sometimes, dude, and this ain't no new plan, dude. This is something I've been working on for quite some time. In fact, at one time, I was on the Hall of Fame committee for the city of Compton when Eric Perriton was the mayor, and I didn't have the influence I have now. So it didn't go anywhere, but the concept has been around for quite some time.
Now, aside from the bigger names we already know, the Dr. Dre's, the Kendricks, who are some lesser known, unsung, heroes of Compton that would be on the Walk of Fame?
Well, you know what? The 1966 Compton High School basketball team, man, has the longest undefeated record in CIF history. But unfortunately, because they're black, the CIF won't recognize them. But the city of Compton needs to recognize them. From that team, there were several gentlemen that went to the Olympics. In fact, I met some of these guys. They're still living. And one of the guys who was on the basketball team went to the Olympics remember when the brothers did the fist thing, Conrad, they did the fist thing. He was 17 years old, standing on the podium, standing right next to them when they did that. So there's a lot of history in Compton. We got dozens of baseball players, dozens of basketball players. We have comedians. We have big time lawyers, big time preachers. The people who came through Compton at one point in time, like George Bush, Kevin Costner. There was even rumored that Marilyn Monroe had a house in Compton at one time. Not to mention your basics, your Venus and your Serenas and your Dre's and your Cubes or whatever. I mean, your Eazies. But it's so much deeper. And for some reason, man, it seems like to me, for whatever reason, I can't explain it, that somebody or some entity wants the Compton history to remain a mystery. Okay. I believe if the Compton history was more prevalent and more well known, it would bring another level of pride to the city. And I ain't gonna say it's gonna change things overnight, but the damn show would give people reason to have their chest stuck out.
Yes, it's good to know that you're from a city that didn't just produce N.W.A, because that's probably what Compton is most known for.
Right, and that's a damn shame. We produced that came out of Compton, but before they came out of Compton, man, some of the cats that I knew, Mayor Dollarhide was one of the first black mayors. West of the Mississippi River. Guys like Ducey Williams, brother that owned Dudo's Music Center. Brother he was one of the first black men to get paid his proper money for writing the song Earth Angel. Okay. Paul Rodriguez, Anthony Anderson, Tiny Lister, AJ Johnson. Thank you, Celebrate Life, OG. Yeah, all these folks came out of Compton, man. You damn near couldn't have made Friday without Compton. So when you think about this, man, I mean, you got Marlo Williams, Sexy Marlo, a comedian. I mean, she's out of Compton. So when you think about so many people, Tyson Beckford went to Dominguez. Man, dude, there's a book. I'm a member of the 125 Society, Historical Society of Compton, and it's amazing at the names that they just, who that? No shit. And and before COVID, once a month they would give a historical. They would invite an historical figure to the city of Compton. Do you remember? There was a television show, man, years ago. It was the father from Fresh Prince. My boy, what's his name? Played on Empire. Man. Come on, man. What's his name? Somebody in the chat room help me out, y'all.
Yeah. I got this. I'll look it up. Keep talking.
What's his name? He always played with Taraji. He was come on, Terrence Howard. The father from Fresh Prince. James Avery, right. There was a television show, a comedy about some black lawyers that was based out of Compton. This is a long time ago, okay? And I know one of the people who was being portrayed in that movie. That's Judge Filer, who sits on the Supreme Court in Compton right now. That was patterned after his family. Okay?
Talking about Sparks? Is it Sparks?
Might have been Sparks.
Yeah, it is Sparks. Yeah. Terrence Howard, Robin Givens.
Yeah. The whole team. Much love to you, Isaiah Howard, for dropping them dollars on you. I appreciate it, Doc. And yeah, man. So when I had a chance to meet Judge Filer on a personal level, not standing before him was a good thing. He dropped that on me. So all these things, all this historical stuff was happening in Compton before Compton went gangster. Okay. The boy that played Joanna Man, he was in the show too. Nunez. Okay. Who was that walking to my studio? Oh, unknown just walked in. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Put him on camera. Put him on camera.
Yeah, if I put the camera, he like a vampire. His ass ain't, he don't cast a shadow. He don't cast no shadows, okay? But yeah, man, so these are the kind of things that people, and I vaguely remember that I watched the show, and I vaguely remember the show. I can't remember not one plot of the episode, but I remember James Avery, my man, Joanna Man, and Terrence Howard doing this show. And I had no idea that it was actually based on a real legal family in Compton, because I think it was his dad who couldn't pass the bar. It took him, this is a real story. Judge Filer, I think it was his dad that was had to take the bar like 10 or 15 times, and it was crazy, man. It was crazy. So the whole story is based around him.
Damn, dog. That's dope. I never even knew that show existed.
You don't know that. Only reason why I know it because I talked to the dude personally. Okay.
You know what? Let me ask you if you know about a show before we jump into what I wanted to talk to you about. Do you remember a very short-lived show? It was only 8 episodes, but it was a very powerful show, and it was called South Central. Lorenz Tate was one of the actors in it. Came out in the mid to late 90s. If you don't remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, very powerful show. It only lasted 8 episodes. I thought it was really good. But
yeah, because I remember seeing one episode, and they was trying to say something happened on 120th and Figueroa, and I live around the corner from there. That ain't happened. That ain't nothing like my street. Okay, so yeah, Doc. Yeah, that's real talk. I remember they said, man, 120th and Figueroa. I'm like, no. Yeah, but again, because Hollywood got permission to lie, creative license, it's just that bullshit. That's all.